All right, we're recording Inspire Beauty. Welcome to the Team Inspire Beauty team training every Monday night, you guys. New time now, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to spend anywhere from 30, 45 minutes talking about our business, our mindset, our self-care, just anything that I find on my radar to be of help to you guys. These are awesome calls to get on no matter where you are in the business, because I try to make it accessible to everyone. I try to find a topic that we can all thrive on, but also present it in such a way that everyone can pull from it tonight. So it doesn't matter if you're brand spanking, stinking new, if you've been in this for a while, tonight you are going to benefit from what I've got to share, hopefully. So let me share my screen with you guys. We'll get going with some announcements that I've got, starting with this week's dates to remember. You guys, you might notice that on Sunday nights, I share what's coming up ahead for the week to come. This is really important, not only just for you to take a peek at every Sunday, and what I like to do is I like to pin it as the announcement post. It's not just for you though. Make sure your coaches, if you are a leader on our team and you have coaches on your downline, make sure they're seeing this information as well, because this is pertinent information for the entire Inspire Beauty network, not just my PS coaches. Everyone is welcome to any and all events, happenings throughout the week, unless otherwise noted. Mondays typically are always the National Wake Up Call and our team training out at 5 p.m. You'll see that if you're in the Ring in a New Rank leadership page, there is a call every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Wednesdays, we always do a guided hustle hour. If you're like, Brittany, I don't know how to sit down and work my business. I'm like so confused, or I sit down and I work, but like I'm total squirrel mode and I can't focus. Guys, this is why I give you Wednesday evenings. For an hour, we do focused work, okay? And you might sit down the very first time you get on there and it might be like totally rocking your world and you're like, kind of. But the more and more, and I guarantee there's coaches on tonight's Zoom that can attest to this, the more often you get onto these team hustle hours, the more you get into the groove of it and you're like, okay, I get this. Like, this makes sense. And then it's my heart that you take those with you beyond just what we do in that hour, but that's something that you then duplicate throughout the week on your own, okay? I'm also going to be coming live. I put this Wednesday, I actually am a stinking liar, you guys. I'm a dirty, rotten liar. It's not this Wednesday. I got super excited and jumped the gun. It's next Wednesday. I'm going to be coming on live on the Inspire Beauty page, and I'm going to call this Emerald 101. If you were part of the team in 2018 and you were on our Emerald in 24-hour pushes or Emerald in overnight pushes, it's similar to that, but I want it to be housed not in a Zoom on Monday nights because I don't want to become redundant, but I want it to be a place on Inspire Beauty that you can tune in on Wednesday evenings. I'm going to do it once a month on Wednesday evenings at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And it's basically going to tell you everything that Emerald coaching is, why you should get to Emerald if you're serious about working this business, and how you can make that happen overnight. Guys, I'm doing it on Wednesdays strategically because the work week ends on Wednesdays, and shout outs and recognition for rank and all that good stuff happen on Thursdays. So by watching it at 4 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays, you totally could take the next hour after you watch that, dig into your business, get uncomfortable, go Emerald, and then we could shout you out the next stinking day for rocking that milestone in your business. So the first place for every coach to get is always Emerald. If you've been stuck at Emerald for a while, it's important that you figure out how to reignite your business and reignite the invitations to our team and to coaching to then get yourself going Emerald again and again, because that's ultimately the goal. Guys, how do you eat an elephant? Amy taught us this weekend. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you go diamond? One coach at a time. How do you become the top coach? One thing at a time, right? So Emerald 101 is where it's at, especially if you feel stuck or you've never hit this rank before. And then this weekend, you guys, is Super Weekend, normally called Super Saturday, but because a lot of cities do Fridays or Sundays, they decided to start calling it Super Weekend. Find your local Super Weekend. You guys, I know what you're already thinking. Well, I don't have anybody to go with. Totally understand that. And the second is, I won't know anybody when I get there. Two very valid statements that are totally fear-based. But number one, you don't know anybody. Well, awesome. or you don't have anybody to go with, awesome. You can still go by yourself, right? Like you don't have to take anybody with you to Super Saturday or Super Weekend. But number two, you don't know anybody, but that's the best part is you get to go there and you get to network and meet other coaches that are local to your area. And then you start to make BFFs. I have a best friend in San Jose. She's my best friend in the whole wide world. And we met at Super Saturday. We actually had been attending church together. We had no idea we went to the same church. And her and I are best friends, not because of Beachbody, but Beachbody happened to bring us together in the same platform. Separate teams, separate like walks on this Beachbody journey, but we are BFFs, and it's because we both got our butts to a Super Saturday. I'll never forget being in Miami and being scared out of my mind, going to a Super Saturday all by myself, and I had a freaking blast. You guys, Autumn Calabrese and Carl Deichler showed up to the Super Saturday that I attended, and it was like, I was just like so like wide-eyed, bushy-tailed the entire time, so excited. And I soaked up so much information, and I got energy from other coaches in my local community. Big deal. So if you guys go to your Coach Online office, if you go to coach.teambeachbody.com and you log in, you'll see at the top events. And when you click on the events tab, you will see Super Weekend, and there you can click to register. You'll type in your zip code and you'll see which ones are around you. Typically, they might have a small fee. We charge $15 for ours. Some of them are free. But get your booty to a Super Weekend because they're going to be announcing lots of fun things, you guys, including where is the next Success Club trip going to be. They're going to announce some new product launches coming up. They're going to unveil they're going to really go step by step through the success tracker that I have posted on the team page. Let me just pull this in case anyone's confused as to what I'm talking about, but this business tracker, they're going to be walking you guys through that and so much more. It's so good. And if you go, you get a free exclusive Transform 20 workout that no one else will get their hands on. So get there. I hope I made my point with that. Here's the deal, you guys. You want to grow this year. You want to grow in your business. You want to grow in your, just whatever your journey looks like for you. And it looks totally different for everybody. Not one size fits all, but wherever you want to grow, you got to stay connected and you got to use the tools. There's so much available to you on our team, but you have to physically stay connected and actually use those tools. So Super Weekend is a great tool. Summit, if you, at Super Weekend, they will announce the price for Summit is going to drop to $155. Guys, normally this ticket runs $350. So you are getting $200 off this ticket. If you wait longer, you're going to be spending $200 more. Get your butt to Summit in July. It's in Indianapolis. It's a weekend event that we all meet up. It is so much stinking fun. And starting on, I believe it's Saturday, that price goes down to $155. So like, put that on your vision board. I want to get to Summit. If you're a brand new coach, if you're within your first month or two of the business, you can earn a free ticket to Summit by hitting Success Club your first 3 months in the business. That means help 3 people in month 1, help 3 people in month 2, help 3 people in month 3. And if you're like, Brittany, I don't know if I could ever do that. Yes, you can. We have coaches who are sitting on this call right now who earn themselves free tickets to this year's Summit simply for helping other people right off the bat when they started their journey. So that's the other thing. It's not on there, but it goes right along with Super Weekend. I announced today a Coach University. I am specifically not calling it New Coach University, which I actually started off by calling it that. And then I like edited my photo. Like, no, I want it Coach University because personally in my business went through like Coach Basics, New Coach University, like a bajillion times because it just wasn't clicking for me. I just wasn't getting it. And really what I wasn't doing is I wasn't actually like trusting my coach and doing the vital behaviors. I was trying to find a better, quicker, smarter, faster way. And truth be told, like I owe it to my coach to like really, like I feel so bad because I probably wasted so much of her time doing this over and over and over again. But the reality is, you guys, if you haven't locked in the vitals, if you're not hitting Success Club every single month, if you're not adding 2 new coaches every month, if you don't have a rhythm to your business, you should be in Coach University so that you're getting those vitals poured into your brain over and over and over again. So that is kicking off next Monday. I asked people to drop an emoji this morning or to say if they wanted to be in it. I know Sarah already said she was down. I know Heather already said she was down. I'm super excited for them to kick off this Coach University, but everyone is welcome. Doesn't matter how long you've been in this business or how long you feel like you've been stagnant. If you need a refresher, here it is. I already talked about the Emerald 101 happening next Wednesday, Team Hustle Hours also. And book of the month, guys, if you are not joining us on Saturday mornings, this Saturday we won't be chatting because of the Super Saturday, but every Saturday morning we have a coffee chat, and the book we're reading right now is called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Okay, normally, you guys, I do recognition right here, and I talk about how many lives we've changed. And actually, truth be told, we have actually already started getting people on the leaderboard, but I wanted to do this to prove a point. Normally, these leaderboards on Thursday have names. They have pictures and faces. There's numbers attached to it. But what I want to show you is that when the new year rolls over on January 1st, when a new month rolls over, right, it's a blank slate. It's always a blank slate. A new work week, blank slate. So Thursday's blank slate for volume. On the first of every month, blank slate for Success Club. The first day of the year, blank slate. If you want to be the person that's always featured on this leaderboard, you can do that. Like whoever you have on a pedestal right now, if you like follow one of our coaches on this team, if there's a coach on Inspire Beauty that you are absolutely inspired by, I love that. But if they've been on a pedestal of this like icon of something that you wish to achieve, but you just don't think you can do it, I want you to kindly like remove them from that pedestal today. Because we all are capable of success in this business. And I'm telling you this from somebody who had other people on pedestals for far too long in her business. I looked up to people for far too long and gave them power that they were better than me, that they could do things that I couldn't do. And I had to get to a place where I drew the line in the sand and said, no more. I can do what they're doing. We all start at zero. So right now, if you want your name on that leaderboard, go work for it. What are you going to do? If you want your name on that Success Club leaderboard, or you want your picture featured for actually hitting Success Club and beyond, do it. Get your name up there. Go talk to people. Start inviting people. Start talking about Transform 20. We've got one more week till we actually dive in. Get the word out about this program, right? And then show up to do it. But it's a blank slate, you guys. So I didn't want to feature any sort of, celebration today because I want it to like really stick to you that you don't have to look at other people and look at their success anymore. You can start to be with them. You can be on that podium right alongside of them. So let's dive into the content for tonight, making 2019 your year. I have 3 areas, you guys, that I really believe if you take these 3 areas to heart and you really hone in on them, that this year can be anything you want it to be. So the first area is belief. And I found in this business, there's 3 areas of belief that we have to kind of go through. And I want you to know and understand before we even start on the different areas, you might not have belief in all 3 of them. You might be sitting here and not even have belief in one of them. And I don't want that to deter you from anything else I say tonight or to think that you can't grow in your belief. When I started this business, I didn't have belief in Beachbody, and I didn't have belief in like this business model and this whole community thing, and I didn't have belief in myself. Okay, but I would say that over the course of 5 years, I've developed that. So the first area of belief that I think most coaches hit first, and it is the platform, it is the foundation, is finding belief in the products you use. Why do you use Shakeology? Why are you doing Transform 20? Why do you drink Energize before your workout? Or why do you drink it at 2 p.m.? What is the belief in the product you use? Why do you keep ordering it at Home Direct month after month? Is it because your coach told you to do it and stay active? Or do you actually, like deep down to your core, believe in it? And my guess is if you don't have a belief in it yet, it's maybe because you haven't allowed it to transform your life. Okay, and I say that because I know that when I started this business, some of you know my backstory, but when I first began, I joined with a T25 challenge pack, all in as a coach with a T25 challenge pack. And I drank the Shakeology and whatnot, but I was marathon training. And so I didn't touch T25. I didn't even touch T25 after my marathon was over in February. I ran the marathon in February. I didn't even pick out T25 then. Actually, in February, a little program that some of you may know called 21 Day Fix came out, and it was the rave of the town. And so I actually did 21 Day Fix, was my very first Beachbody program as a coach. My first program was Insanity, but as a coach, 21 Day Fix was the very first one I did. And I'll remember, like, I was wearing a tank top and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm starting to get like arm muscles. Like it was pretty cool. And then I actually finished that program and started to get a little bit of belief in what we have to offer, like what I have to offer. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then the summer came, or April, May came around, springtime, and I decided to finally do T25. And I did it. And I'll never forget, I was coaching at the time, and I was on the road with a drum corps, and I was sitting by the food truck early in the morning working my business before anybody got up. And Charlie, at that time, we were not dating. This was pre-Brittany and Charlie. He actually was up as well, and he came over to the area that I was sitting in. I was smiling so big. He's like, "What are you smiling about?" I was like, "Dude, look at this." And it was my before and my after from T25. And I was so shocked that 25 minutes a day with this stupid, crazy guy yelling at me, like, could do that. And I was surprised. And so I got a little bit more belief. And then I went to Summit that summer. And you guys, I almost didn't go to Summit. 3 days before Summit, I called my coach and I was like, "I can't make it. I'm not coming." And she said, "What?" Like, "No, you have to come." It was just me and her. That was it from our team. She said, "You have to come." I'm like, "I can't afford it." Well, we figured it out. We figured out how I could afford it. And she helped me out with the hotel stuff. And I figured out flight stuff. And I made it to Summit. And then I got a little bit more belief because I could like physically see it in front of me. That's what Super Saturday will help you with. That's what getting to Summit will help you with, is having this physically in front of your face, this community. But it took me time and time, bit after bit after bit, one bite of the elephant. I started to believe in this. I believed in the products I was using. I believed in Shakeology. I started to believe in these workout programs, but it took time for me. So maybe you haven't done enough programs to have the kind of belief, or maybe you've done enough, but you haven't truly gone all in with them to have the belief in your before and after. The other area of belief is in our community. And I mean this by like the coaching community, the team community, the challenge group community, but all of that, like the next level. So you take care of you. The level after that is the people who like get it too, right? If you are not contributing actively to the challenge group, actively to the team, actively getting on these calls, it's easy not to have belief in it because you're disengaged, you're not connected. So the more we stay connected, the more that belief will grow. And the belief in ourselves, I find, tends to be the area that the people, you'd think that we'd find belief in ourselves first, right? But it seems to be that these workouts give us a little bit of belief in what we can do. And then this community seems to have our back, and they kind of nudge us towards a little bit more belief. And then all of a sudden, that final layer is when we finally start to believe in ourselves that we can actually freaking do this. So there's 3 layers to that belief that I think throughout this year, if you're going to make it the year of you, right? Your year, 2019, I want you to really hone in on how are you going all in with these products? How are you fostering belief in your community and not pushing it to the side, even when life gets busy or things get hard? And how are you going to work on yourself to start believing in yourself that you can be as successful, that you can be on that leaderboard that I just showed with all the blank spaces? All of this is developed over time, you guys. Some of the ways to build belief that I was just kind of brainstorming earlier, go all in on Transform 20. Document the entire journey. You guys, make it like your business on every Sunday to take another picture. Even if you don't see any change, take the picture and put the side by side together. Okay, 1 week down, here's my side by side. Okay, 2 weeks down of Transform 20, here's week 0, here's week 2. Okay, 3 weeks down, halfway through, this is what I look like, right? And make your followers excited to see what's going to happen on Sunday. Like, oh my gosh, even guys, I triple dog dare you. What if your results go the other way? What if you gain weight 1 week? Or you're pudgy 1 week because maybe you're about to start your period, right, ladies? Like, what if that's happening? I triple dog dare you to take the side by side anyway and talk about that with your people. Document the whole journey. Be visible on social media. Carl Deichler talked about that today. Talked about on the National Wake Up Call being visible. We want people to see us. It's not about what we can prescribe for somebody, but it's what we can describe in our lives that's changing. I'm going to say that again. It's not us prescribing something for someone. Oh, you should do Transform 20 because you want to lose weight. No, it's me saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to describe the entire journey to you guys so that you may see yourself in my shoes. And because you see yourself in my shoes and I've offered you that, like a little bit of hope for you, now maybe that's your prescription, right? Contribute to the challenge group that you're in. Contribute as if like you're the only one in that group. That group depends on you showing up to comment on people's stuff, to share recipes, to share your meal planner. Act as if you are running that group in whatever group you're in. Contribute in the team page as if it is your team page, as if it is your like your downline that is looking up to you, what would you tell them today? What would you have gone into if Inspire Beauty was your page? What would you have gone into them today and told them? What would you want them to know? Contribute like that. You don't have to wait for somebody to designate like you are a contributor. No, you are. You get to contribute to this community because the more you contribute, the more you're going to foster that belief. Attend live events. I already spoke about that till I was freaking blue in the face. Stop hiding. Ooh, I love this one. Stop hiding behind words you're afraid of. If somebody said, hey, what do you do for a living? I talked about this on our Business Builders page. You're like, hey, what do you do for a living? I used to say, when I was a teacher, an elementary school teacher, I'd say, oh, I'm a teacher. I coach color guard. That's all. That's all I'd say. I had this whole like Beachbody coach thing that I never wanted to tell people because, quite frankly, I was ashamed to say it because I didn't want people to think of me differently. But I don't know, like that shame didn't come from anything other than like from me. So I had to stop hiding behind being afraid of calling myself a coach. I love the activity whenever we start a new challenge group and I ask people to tell us what you do for a living or what you do, what your roles are. I love when our coaches don't say they're a coach. Even if you're not a working coach, I love it because I love seeing that because it's so insightful to me because it brings me back to that time when I was afraid to say it too. So I get it, but say it. Rip the Band-Aid off and say, I'm a Beachbody coach. Like next time somebody says, why do you post on social media? Because I'm a Beachbody coach. I help others have healthier, happier lives. I love to inspire other people to take care of themselves. I'm a coach. Like own it. Stop hiding behind the words that you're afraid of. Start like writing them big and bold in front of you so that you can practice saying them. Because this is the belief in yourself that's missing. That's that last component. Personal growth and development, huge for finding belief in yourself. And again, give yourself time. Unfortunately, like I love how many people are on the Zoom tonight. What if every single person who's on the Zoom not only was on the Zoom tonight, but was on every Monday night Zoom that they could humanly attend this year, and you were all back here in another year? Like, could you give yourself that gift of time? Because I'm where I am, but it's been 5+ years in the making. Imagine if I would have quit before a full year. Imagine if I threw in the towel 2 years in. Imagine 3 years in. I was like, oh, I'm just not where I want to be yet. I quit. None of you would be sitting where you're at. None of your people would have the opportunity. It's a trickle down. Imagine the people that you could impact, who they could impact, the spiderweb effect. And so if you cut yourself off short and you don't give yourself the gift of time, man, you're doing a disservice, not only just to yourself, but to all the people that would be inspired by you. Okay, let's move on to number 2, habits. So belief is something you want to make this year. We got to start working on belief in Beachbody, in the community, and in ourselves. But now we have to work on habits. You guys, your goals. So people set goals when these New Year's resolutions come around, and I want to do this year, and I want to do this. And we have, and I've asked it on the team page too, like what are your goals? What do you want to achieve in January? What do you want to achieve the first quarter? What do you want to achieve throughout the full year? And we have a great like habit of writing down those goals and having really good intentions. I don't think any of you guys write down a goal and think to yourself, I'm just going to write this down, but I don't really think it's going to happen. Like, I don't think you truly think that. I think your intentions are really good, that you really desire to make that goal happen. But unfortunately, goals only written down and your good intentions, your great spirit, it's not enough. It's not enough. Your habits are what is going to make 2019 your year. And so if you look back on 2018, you're like, man, I missed the mark on some things. It was your habits. The reason we're reading the compound effect is because it comes down to choices. And Aristotle's quote, you are what you repeatedly do. This is so important because your habits are what you start doing all over. Like, think about this morning. Some of us have cultivated a great morning routine. And I love that. I love if you've started to develop a really wonderful morning routine for yourself, kudos. Like, keep it up, keep adding layers to that, and figuring out what works for you to make you the best you for the rest of the day. But I mean, some of us too, though, and I'm totally guilty, some of us have a morning routine of the alarm goes off and we hit snooze and then we roll back over and we don't even think about it. We don't think like, should I hit snooze today or should I get up today? No, we just do it like automatically. We roll back over. And that becomes a habit. That one choice starts to become a habit over and over and over again. And without thinking about it, all of a sudden we are this person that we're not a morning person, right? Like, have you ever heard people tell you that I'm just not a morning person? Or maybe you say it. But I don't think it's that you're not a morning person. I think that you've created a habit of repetitively telling yourself you're not a morning person, repetitively hitting the snooze, repetitively not getting your stinking butt out of bed. Guys, best purchase I ever made, side note, is I have one of those alarms that slowly makes the sun rise. And then it plays this like really relaxing like music as the sun comes. So 30 minutes before my alarm goes off, our alarm goes off at 5:30 every morning, but at 5 a.m., the sun starts to rise. And for 30 minutes, it progressively gets brighter. And the brightest level is really not that bright. But guys, it straight up wakes me up. This morning, it's a freaking Monday morning. My alarm normally goes off at 5:30. It was like 5:20, and I was like, blink. Oh, okay, I guess I'll get up. Like, and it's the most soothing way to wake up. So if you are like, I hate the mornings and I hate listening to my iPhone go off, and you're one of those people like me, I have a very bad habit of when my phone goes off for my alarm, I'll turn my alarm off, but then I'll turn my social media on. Yeah, anybody else? I'm totally terrible at that. And I hate being on my phone first thing. It's not a great way to set up my day. So in order to not do that, I have this thing go off. It's on the other side of the room. I don't even grab my phone because my phone alarm doesn't go off, and it starts my day off right. I wanted to give us a little analogy. So if you, donuts are pretty good, right? First of all, like, that's how I know there's a God, because there's pizza, there's wine, there's donuts, there's things like that. There's really, really good things on this planet. So that just can't come from mankind. So donuts, though, you guys, if I were to go, let's say I went, by the way, there's a vegan donut place that opened. Just because it's vegan doesn't make it healthy, FYI. Just means doesn't have dairy. So there's a vegan donut place down the street that just opened up. And I went there one time, and it was amazing. It was so amazing. Luckily, it's not walking distance. I would have to drive. So good for me, it's not walking distance. But let's say it was. And I went there that first time. I was like, this donut is so good. Oh, my gosh. And then tomorrow, I'm like, you know what? I got to go back. I got to go get one of those donuts again. This vegan place, it might not stay open very long. I got to get it while it's hot. So I go back the next day. And then before I know it, I start to make this habit out of it. Actually, when I was living in Miami, I started doing that on Fridays. Every Friday, I thought I deserved a Starbucks coffee. And so at the end of my long work week, I'd go to Starbucks. I wouldn't just get the venti, like sugary crap. I would also get like a big old breakfast sandwich too, which probably had like 800 calories in it just to start my day off. So I'm probably beyond my calorie intake for the entire day right there at one Starbucks visit. And I started doing this on Fridays, but then I started to feel like I deserve this on Mondays. Mondays are hard days too. I'm going to make Monday better. I'm going to go to Starbucks. So now I like bookended my week with Starbucks. The same thing for a donut, you guys. You can start to get in these cycles, these habits that you don't even think about. And all of a sudden you just do it. Now, one donut a day doesn't sound that bad, right? Like, it's just one donut, and I could still continue doing my same workout regimen. Nothing else changes in my life, you guys. Just eating one donut a day. I want you to share in the chat how many pounds you think I'd gain if I ate one donut a day for 2 years straight. Like, you can put them in brackets, like 10, 0 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40. Just give your numbers in the chat right now. Let's see what people are saying. I'm going to stop share so I can see it. $40 to $50. Dang, Cassidy, yeah. Cassidy's feeling the weight gain for that. 21 to 30, over 50. You guys are, so this is why I love health coaches, because we are like extremists. Yeah, you would, Amanda, crave more sugar. So I didn't actually do the math, but somebody else did the math for me. And it's, if I ate one donut, and I'm not even talking the weekends, just 5 days a week for 2 years, I gained 28 pounds. That's without doing anything else different. And that's, to us, like that's probably not that shocking, because to us, we're in the industry and we see how these choices could like add up over time, right? But like, imagine the average normal person who has that habit of stopping for a coffee and donut every morning on their way to work, right? And instead could have a shake on their way out the door, you know? Same thing could happen, guys, on the other end of the spectrum. If you're reading Compound Effect, there are two ends of this pendulum swing. So on that extreme, we gain 28 pounds by eating one donut a day for 5 days a week for 2 years. On the complete other end, we could lose 28 pounds if instead of one donut a day, 5 days a week, we took one 30-minute walk 5 days a week for 2 full years. Isn't that insane? The complete opposite, right? And these are the kinds of things that our habits have the power to do. I'm going to go back really quick to this. I have a couple questions I want you to jot down in your notes right now for me. First question is, what's the one thing that most needs to change this year for you in terms of habits or just in terms of your life? Like, what's the one thing that's the weight on your shoulders? Like, I just want this to change. I'm going to give you guys a second to journal some of this, so just jot the questions down real quick. The second question is, why is that important to you? Why do you want it to change? And the last question is, in what ways are your habits helping or harming your life? So jot those 3 down. And I just want to give you guys like 2 minutes to kind of thoughtfully journal and think to yourself, like, what is the one thing, that elephant on your shoulder that you just want to get rid of this year, and why? Like, why is that so important to you? And then if you're feeling up for it, no pressure, but because some of this might be heavy for you, and that's okay, I respect that. But if it's something that you're like, with the added accountability, like, I want you guys to know this about me. I want you to know that this is what I crave so bad this year, and this is why I crave it. I'd love if you shared it in the chat with us. Because there's power in saying these things out loud, power in sharing it with people that can not just hold you accountable, but love you the whole way. Commitment. Yes, Cassidy. And I think we owe it to ourselves sometimes to just prove it to ourselves that we can commit fully to something that is so good for ourselves. By the way, huge shout out to Cassidy, because she just signed up as a coach, like, I don't even know, like 48 hours ago. She's already here rocking the socks off this. And that's the thing, and I'll talk while everyone's still kind of jotting. If anybody else has a couple things to share, I'd love to hear it. But like, Cassidy, the foundation of this, and you're going to keep learning this as we go, is, and the best reason to be a coach on Inspire Beauty is because the foundation is self-care. And every coach on here, no matter like if their goal is to earn like a crazy income or just cover their Shakeology, or they're not even really working the business, they just love the inspo, like, there's a place for everyone to find that commitment to ourselves. Continuing to expand my network so my business will grow. Need to rebuild my power hour into my schedule. Yep. And the best way to do that is to simply sit down on Sunday and look at what your schedule is. Block scheduling, you guys. So when I was a teacher, I had from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. it was in the classroom. So I blocked that off on my calendar. And then I knew I had to be at rehearsal from 5 to 8. So I blocked off 5 to 8. So, I've got to crack from 3 to 5. I've got to crack from 8 to 10 before I go to bed. I've got to crack from 5 a.m. to, 7:30 before I have to get out the door. Like, I found those cracks, and then I started to reverse engineer where I could put Beachbody in that. Okay. And if block scheduling is something you guys want to hear me talk about, I can totally do a Zoom on that one of these Mondays. Love to not fail. Wouldn't we all, Mary? You're funny. I would love to not fail too. But I think more importantly, it's not so much to fail. I think that you hit the nail on the head after that, is to not quit or give up. Because we only fail, essentially, completely fail when we just flat out give up. But I will never sugarcoat, we have to fail in order to move forward. There is no success that comes without actual failed attempts getting there. Trust and believe. I'm so tired of being disappointed in myself. Yeah. And sometimes you have to just get to the end of yourself. Yeah, your sweet tooth will hurt, but that's where Recover made like brownie batter comes in real handy for that sweet tooth. Thanks, Autumn. How I see myself in the mirror. Yeah. And how you talk to yourself too, Tiff, right? When you do see that reflection. Absolutely. Taking action, being consistent, blocking my calendar for Beachbody work time. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm going to go back and we're going to rock and roll. You guys can continue to add those if you do have them, but I won't be able to see them just yet. Let's keep moving and grooving. We've got one more area. So I talked about belief, and that comes with time. So you got to give yourself grace. Like I know on this team we have so many perfectionist women. I know it. Why? I was her. And still fight the good fight to not be her on a freaking daily basis. A lot of us come from performance backgrounds. In performance, you're taught to be perfect, right? You have to look just like her. You need to be better than her, because if you aren't, you're not going to get the solo. You need to look a certain way because you are a performer. I get it. We were ingrained with that if you came from a performance background. But I'm telling you that you don't have to hold on to those lies, because those are all lies. It's not serving you. Perfection doesn't exist. No one on this team is ever asking you to be anything but yourself and your best self, not your perfect self, right? And then we talked, you guys, about our habits. So we've got our belief. We're working on that. We're giving ourselves grace and time, not having perfection be the do-all end-all, right? But then we have to look at what are our habits doing to move us closer to what we want this year. And the last thing, you guys, and this is where it's at. This is literally when we're like, why is she so lucky? Or how did she get to do that? Consistency all the time. How consistent will you be this year? Make it a game. So I'm going to talk about a toolbox really quick, but ladies, I don't know if any of you guys actually own your own toolbox, and I'm not trying to be sexist or anything like that, but I'm just speaking from my personal experience. I don't actually have a toolbox. I know we have one in the house because Charlie has one, and I can speak because of that. But I also think some women might relate more to makeup. That's not even me either. I don't even have a makeup bag either. So I don't really fit in with either of these analogies, but I'm going to try to go for it. So when we get a toolbox, when you're born, you don't have a toolbox. Your dad has the toolbox, right? Or somebody in your house has a toolbox. Okay, we go through life, and when we need something, our parents usually have it. But then we go into this thing called adulting, and all of a sudden you move into an apartment or a house, and you're things break and you need to fix them. So all of a sudden as adults, one of the really cool things we start buying are toolboxes, right? That's one of that is a sign you've crossed over the threshold. You are now an adult because you now need a toolbox. And that is on a priority list of purchases, right along with new socks. So your toolbox, you guys, though, when you buy it, if you're anything like us, we have one, and it's probably not complete with everything we need in it. But as we've faced problems in our household in terms of something broke, or we want to hang this certain thing, or we moved houses and this house has, these kind of walls or whatever, you start to add things to your toolbox, right? And so I might add in a hammer because I need to nail something to the wall. And then maybe I add in a staple gun because I need that. Or we got... man, I don't even know what it's called, but we were making a hammock stand for the backyard at the end of the summer. And we needed a clamp because we were doing the wood glue. So we needed a clamp. So we bought one of those because we needed it. And we bought this triangle thing that's you're supposed to, I don't even know what it's called. Still can't figure out how to use it, but we bought it. It's like a triangle. It's like a protractor, but it's not. I don't know. Anyway, we added it to the toolbox. Long story, you guys. Every time we had a problem, every time we had a need in our household, we didn't just say, well, forget it, sell the house. We gotta go. We gotta get out of here. Or forget it, I'm not even gonna try. Let's not put anything on the walls because you know what, we don't have the right stuff. No, what do? We pulled up our adult pants and we went over to Home Depot or Lowe's. I'm more of a Lowe's girl. We went over to Lowe's and we bought the freaking tool that we needed. And we kind of learned how to use the tool, and then we put it in our toolbox. And now every time that situation arises, like every time I need to level something, I have the leveler and I know how to use it because I've done it a couple times. Every time I need to hammer something, we have the hammer, we've got the nails. I've used it a couple times. I know how to do it. I'm getting more comfortable. If one of you guys was like, Brittany, I'm trying to hang this thing with these command strips. How do you do command strips? I could totally tell you how to do command strips and which ones are the best ones. The Velcro ones, by the way, because I've used them, they're in my toolbox, and I've practiced enough that I can now tell you what I think would work for you. This business is the same, you guys. Your fitness is the same. Your nutrition is the same. Every time we face a problem in our fitness, the answer is not to stop fitness. Maybe you have the wrong tool, or maybe you don't have the tool. Maybe you stopped using Beachbody On Demand, and it's right there. It's in your toolbox. Pull it back out. I've got Beachbody On Demand. That's my tool. Or maybe your nutrition's gone way out of control. Okay, you have tools. You've got 2B Mindset. We've got Ultimate Fix coming out soon. You have your portion containers. Pull the tools back out. You have them. Practice them. Just because you have the tool doesn't mean you know how to use it. It just means you have it now to access, right? So also give yourself the chance to use it and practice it, right? I think far too often, there's so many tools on our team, but I think far too often we look at a tool and we're like, that's too hard. I'm not going to try. We just give up before we even try it. Or we pull that tool out once like this, and it looks like it's written in like Chinese, and you're like, well, this is Chinese, I don't get this, and you put it back and you don't practice it. You guys, I've used so many trackers over the years, so many planners over the years, so many different systems over the years till I could finally figure out what worked for me. Your business, your journey is no different. So we get all these things in our toolbox, you guys, but you have to like actually pull them out and use them. It's the consistency, right? And again, every tool that's in your box doesn't necessarily work for the problem that you have. If I need to nail something, I'm not going to pull out my leveler, right? Sometimes I think we grab the wrong tool just thinking it'll like a quick fix. I'll just use the leveler and pound that nail in, it'll be fine. No, use the freaking hammer, it works better, right? Like don't try to cut corners, you know what I mean? I just think I'll kind of do 21 Day Fix, but I don't really like Pilates day, and I don't really like yoga day, and I don't really like the portion containers, so I'll just do the other stuff. And then, no, you're trying to nail something with a leveler. You need to nail it with the hammer. If you have a problem with your eating and your fitness and you're gonna do 21 Day Fix, freaking do 21 Day Fix, right? But also know the tool that you need for the problem you have. Guys, again, you have access to every single tool on our team. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I kind of am patting myself on the back because your team is set up for success. Your coaches that join you are set up for success. Your challengers that join you are set up for success because you have access to every single tool you need to be successful. I promise you, I'm not hiding anything. There's nothing that I'm like, I'm never going to tell Inspire Beauty this because then they're really going to be successful. Why would I do that? I want every one of you to be successful. In fact, I want you guys to be more successful than me. That would be really fun to watch. Like, I want you to pass me up. You know what's really fun about my journey, you guys, right now? And this is so terrible because this is being recorded and anyone could watch this on YouTube. But something that's really gratifying to me right now is that in 2 weeks, I'm going to pass up my coach. What? In 2 weeks, I get to pass my coach and be like, bye, girl. I kept working while you stopped. Like, wouldn't that be so cool to just be able to keep freaking going and you have the tools you need? I'm not hiding anything from you. But I'm also not a mind reader. So if ever you're like, I just don't know where to find this, or I'm totally lost on this concept, you got to tell me because I don't know where you're stuck in order to help you. I can give you anything you need, but I got to know what it is first, right? It's up to you to choose to be consistent, you guys, in using those tools that we have. So here's some ways to get consistent, I think. First of all, make it fun. Today, like, when I really sat down to focus on my business, I made it fun, but I turned on music. I light a candle. I make it fun. I love fluffy, fun, like pretty things. So I have like my fun planner, and I just got like a whole new binder thing that I set up, and I try to make my office like a vibe and an environment that I like. So that's another thing. Do you have a space that you sit and you actually work, or are you just always on the go on your phone? Because that's not a business. That's not a business. That's just a hobby. Right? So setting yourself up for success now, make it fun. Make your vibe like something you want. Like, I want to come into my office because I like it in here. Use your team for accountability, or get an accountability partner. Just like we, hey girl, help me work out. Hey girl, help me like stay accountable to hitting Success Club this month. Like, let's do this together. Let's help each other out. Get accountability partners. Print off trackers, you guys. So the tracker that I posted, it's in the files section of the team page, but again, I will show you. Third time's the charm. Print them off. Bind them. Make 52 copies. Guys, by the way, I do need to update the one in the file section though, because I think Carl rolled out a newer, updated version. So just side note for that before you start printing off 70,000 trackers, okay? And then have them in a designated office space. So print off your trackers. Don't just have papers flying around everywhere and like stuffing them in your purse, stuff like that. Have them in a designated place so that when you open that up, you're like, okay, clocked in, it's time to work. Do you have, that's where this next question comes in. Do you have office hours? On your planner, in your schedule, do you know every day I sit down and I work my business from 5 to 6 p.m. right when I get home from work before I do anything else? Or every morning when my alarm goes off, I do my workout and then I work my business for an hour right before I head out the door to go to work. Do you have office hours? And if you are honest to God, you guys, it is way easier to have office hours when you are juggling this with something else like a full-time job. Right now, when I have the whole day, it's a lot harder for me to have designated office hours because I think people think like, well, Brittany, this is what she does all day. So she must be able to answer my question 24/7, 365, right? So a lot of times it's harder for me to actually have designated office hour times. And I could easily come in here and just start doing lots of fluffy stuff and not actually get anything targeted done for my business. So I know some of you might be like, well, Brittany has it easier, or Leah has it easier, or somebody who has quote unquote more time, right? No. I think that when you have other things on your schedule, it makes you laser focused to get the most important things done first so that you can move on. So do you have those office hours? And have you, this is the other kicker, because last week on our Business Builders page, a lot of our coaches shared that other things came up and they did those other things instead of their business. And this is where I wonder, have you shared any of why you're doing this with your spouse or your family or your friends? Like when they say, hey, let's go to the bar tonight, and you're like, well, I was supposed to work my business for an hour, but the bar sounds really good. Have you ever told them, you know what, I can't go tonight because this is really important to me and I made a commitment to myself? Have you ever told them that? And if you're in the circle of friends, and I'm, again, speaking from total experience, because this was me in the beginning of my business, my circle of friends could care less about my Beachbody business at that time. And if I told them that I was doing something that was important to me, they probably would have made fun of me. And you know what? I had to get rid of that circle and find a new one. And so if you're sitting here today and you're like, if I told my circle of friends that I didn't want to go to the bar and I'd rather do Beachbody, they probably wouldn't want to be my friend anymore. You have the wrong friends. Like, I love you so much, but like, find better friends. Like, your friends should push you. Your friends should call you on your BS. Your friends should say, why are you here at the bar with us? Did you work your business today? Those are the friends you should have in your life. The ones that are holding you accountable to the things that you want most in your life. And if you haven't shared with your spouse or your family, the people that you can't actually get rid of, like you can't, like when I said find new friends, I don't mean find a new spouse. Like, you don't do that, right? If they don't, if they're like making fun of it, you might have to have a deeper conversation with them. And sometimes their belief isn't going to come until they see you actually hustle. Sometimes the reason they don't believe in it is because you haven't shown them that they should believe in it yet. So share it with your spouse. Tell them, from 5 to 6 p.m. every night, babe, I got to work my business. Will you hold me to it this week? Just like I asked Charlie, hold me to, not talking bad about myself. I ask him to do those things for me because he loves me, because I trust him, and I know that everything that comes out of his mouth is going to come out with love and my best interest in mind. He's been trying to get back into his cycling because he's got a big ride coming up this summer. And so I'm holding him to it, like, okay, babe, get out of bed. Let's go. You got to cycle, And I think that that's important in a relationship too. So share that with your spouse. Share that with your family. Let them know that this is important to you this year, because this is the year that you want to make it different, right? Whew. When you live alone, you need a toolbox. True that. Pink toolbox, hey-o. I know. I feel like I tried to get one of those once and I was like, too much money. Y'all are talking so much about toolboxes. I love it. This is great. This is great. So much about toolboxes. Perfect. I don't think I see any questions. Guys, we are at the end. That's all the content I have for tonight. Does anybody want to unmute and ask questions or add anything in or clarify?
No, I think I actually just like the way you broke it down into 3 very simple categories, because that just gave me a little bit more of making myself get a visual on those 3 things specifically.
Yeah.
And they're so simple, just like everything else.
And I know we want, when I put up the title, Make 2019 Your Year, I know you want a 6-step process of boxes you can check off. And I know we want that. Like, I get that. But at the end of the day, you guys, it's you and it's your mind and it's the freaking things that you do and what you actually want to achieve that are going to move you towards that. If you want check boxes, like, print off that tracker and you can check those things off. But when it comes to this, like, there's nothing that, we can't check off belief. We just have to keep working at it, you know? That's it. That's all I got. I want to do like a little boomerang or something on my story, if that's cool. So let me see. I think I'll just make sure that you're smiling and don't have like resting BITC what face, because that's always, I have the worst resting face. Okay. All right. Everybody smile, cheese. Yay. Okay, this is so fun. I will try to tag you all here shortly. Guys, thank you so much for spending your first Monday of the year with me. I hope next week we don't just have all of you guys on, but then some, right? I'd love to see even more of our coaches joining us for all this, because this is gold. And I think we're about 2 coaches away. I'm lying to you guys. I don't know how many I need to have a second screen, but if you're new around here, one of my goals is that I want so many coaches on the Zoom that I can't even see everybody's face because it's on the second screen because there's like a tab over button. So that's where we're gunning, but we're getting close. I love it. All right, guys, thank you so much for spending your Monday night with me. Have a wonderful night.